Okay, so I'll start, and if people join us a little later, it's fine. So welcome. We're gonna go through a little introduction before starting the webinar, just so you know, as you see, you don't have a webcam or a mic, so everything's off. But if you have any questions, there's the Q&A section that we really encourage you to use. So you can write down your questions and we'll answer, whether we'll just type an answer or we'll pause the webinar and we'll take some time to answer your questions. If you have any sort of comment that is not a question, you can always use the chat. So if you want to say hello, hi, or just anything that's not a question, use the chat. We'll talk a lot about your dashboard today. So you'll see all the tools that are available on the dashboard. The dashboard is on the Life Saving Society website. Just so you know, the webinar is probably going to last about an hour. It might be a little less, and depending on how many questions you have. And also, I didn't introduce myself, but I'm Penelope. I work at the Life Saving Society. I'm taking the place of Karina Lopez, who was in maternity leave, but she'll come back at the beginning of next week. So you'll hear from her and from me for another few weeks, and then it's probably gonna be just her. Yeah. So in the meantime, don't hesitate to contact me or write me an email. So our team is there to help you. You can write down the alerte@sauvetage.qc.ca email address if you have any questions, or there's also going to be my email address at the end of this webinar. So before starting, we just want to remind everyone about the Life Saving Society's mission. So it is to promote safe interactions with water to prevent drowning and other injuries. This is basically why the programs are always updating. So we keep the mission in our mind when we update the program, and we train better bystanders on scene to interact better with victims and other drowning incidents. So I'm just gonna, yeah. So about the program update, why did the Life Saving Society has updated its bronze medal awards? It is to reflect the society's current research into drowning. I'm so sorry, I'm a French speaker, so I might have a little trouble sometimes. So so reflect the research in Canada, including the incidents and consequences of non-fatal drowning. So before, we were focusing more on fatal drowning, but really the incidents and consequences of non-fatal drowning are really important and are present now in this new program. It is also to focus the core areas of competency in water rescue. So those four: skills, knowledge, fitness, and judgment. And finally, to improve skill progressions for a logical and seamless flow into National Lifeguard, and to set candidates up for success as they move through the Society's life-saving, assistant lifeguard, and lifeguard continuum. So basically, the Swim Patrol, Bronze Star, Bronze Medallion, and Bronze Cross. So there's really a sense of progression and a better flow to get to National Lifeguard. So I'll now introduce our speakers for the webinar. We have with us Dave Vaillancourt. Dave is a member of the National Training Program Commission. He's a national trainer, and he was also a part of the team that worked on this program, the update. So he was the Quebec representative on the Bronze Program Revision Working Group. I'm sorry, Dave, but you're the man, and I screwed up a little bit, but you're the man. And he's also a mentor. With us, we also have Simon Ruffley. He's a mentor and he's been a life-saving instructor for 20 years now. So he's really qualified. He knows the program really well, and he's a really good speaker. So you'll hear from him in a little bit. So I'll let them go through the webinar with you. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to write it, and I'll stop those two guys to have a little time to answer your question. So thank you.
Okay, so we're going to get started by looking at some of the key changes across the program. So Bronze Star now has content that's going to focus on swimming proficiency, life-saving skill, and personal fitness. What you'll see is when we look at charts later is that there's no rescue components in Bronze Star. It's just the components of rescues. In Bronze Medallion, we're now including swimming strokes in the curriculum. So that's allowing us to keep base principles and have a focus on that. It was something that was deemed as lacking when the program revision was done, which would be the swimming strength of the candidates going through the program. In Bronze Cross, we now have fundamental lifeguarding skills and concepts that's needed by those who are responsible for safety supervision. So with Bronze Cross, we see a lot of people acting as assistant lifeguards in a supervision capacity, and now they're going to be learning some of those skills as part of the Bronze program. First aid items are now going to be restricted to content that relates directly to water rescue. So resuscitation remains a central focus, especially resuscitation of drowning victims in the Bronze Medal Awards. And we've also standardized the recertification process for Medallion and Cross. So there's a more fixed process now to run a recertification exam for those two levels. We can move on. Oh, here we go. New support resources. The revised bronze programs are supported by a new award guide. So we have the new Bronze Medals Award Guide. It also features a supplement at the back that has information particularly pertaining to some of the supervision and scanning. So those would be items that would not necessarily be found in the Canadian Life-Saving Manual to help guide life-saving instructors through the more supervision and scanning skills. There's going to be new test sheets for all levels and that are going to be available on the dashboard. If they're not there already, they should be available soon. And there's also new award descriptions that can be used in any promotional documents used to advertise the programs at your facilities. So if we look at the course durations, you'll see that there's only one change, and that has to do with the Bronze Medallion time. So the Bronze Medallion recommended time is now 15 hours. These ratios are all still for a 1:12 ratio, and we recommend that you increase those times if you're going to exceed that ratio. The reason for the decrease in Bronze Medallion, as we'll see, is there's a significant chunk of first aid that's been removed, which allows the content to be given over a shorter duration, and it also allows us to have a progression in course duration as well. So there's not a big jump from a 10-hour course directly to a 20-hour. The prerequisites are pretty much status quo. Bronze Star is still the ability to swim 100 meters, to be 11 years old, and to ideally have participated in swim patrol. In Bronze Medallion, there's still the equivalency test to run on your first day to make sure they have the swimming ability of Red Cross Swim Kids level 10. And they should either be 13 or hold the Bronze Star Award, and that the 13 is by the day of the exam. For Bronze Cross, it's the only prerequisite that's remained unchanged is to hold Bronze Medallion. Validity of certificates are 2 years as a working permit, and the period to requalify for all is for life. What that means is that there's no period after it expires that you have to recertify in. You can recertify at any time, and that standardizes with the national policy for the National Lifeguard recertification as well. So let's take a little bit closer zoom into the different awards. So Bronze Star is swimming proficiency, life-saving skills, personal fitness. Candidate is receiving the same materials upon completion as they used to, a medal, a certification card, and a crest. And Bronze Star is geared to be a fun introduction to life-saving sport and life-saving. The materials and equipment haven't changed really for Bronze Star. You'll see in our list here, we've added a couple of things that are a little bit more related to COVID, like wearing the procedure masks and the use of the life-saving sport mannequin. The life-saving sport mannequin can also be used in some of the rescue drills as well, so it has a dual purpose. In Bronze Medallion, we're now really starting to develop the 4 areas of life-saving: judgment, knowledge, skill, and fitness. The candidate is receiving, again, the same materials they did upon the completion: medal, certification card, and crest. And now we're going to start working on problem-solving skills. So those are the rescue elements that are going to be in putting everything together, making decisions in, on, and around the water. Materials and equipment are same as Bronze Star and pretty much unchanged from the previous program. Bronze Cross is now a transition course from life-saving to lifeguarding. The goal is to strengthen and expand on life-saving skills, to apply principles and techniques of active surveillance in aquatic facilities, emphasize the importance of teamwork and communication when responding to aquatic emergencies. So those are the newer items in Bronze Cross to more prepare them for their future job as part of a team. Candidate is still receiving the medal, certification card, and crest. And the candidate is going to be trained as an assistant lifeguard, so they're a lot better able to meet their responsibilities as an assistant lifeguard as designated in the regulation respecting safety in public baths, B1.1 R11. When it comes to materials and equipment for Bronze Cross, you'll notice there's a 10-pound brick that's included there. There is now a recovery of an object item, but Dave will go into a little bit more detail with that in just a moment. And I'm going to pass it over to Dave now. He's going to go into a little bit more detail with you in some of the major changes in the program.
All right, thank you, Simon. So yes, major changes to the program. We will go over some of them quickly together tonight. I will not go into all the details of the new item because it is very important that everyone reads the new award guide and make sure to understand all the nuances that are added in there and the new items. But we will still go over together just to make sure that we have a sense of what is new. So as Simon mentioned, a significant change is the introduction of the swim strokes in the program, both in Bronze Star and Bronze Medallion. So it will be explicitly there. Different strokes, different approach, different life-saving kicks. All the details of the performance criteria have been added in appendix at the end of the award guide. So every stroke, all these things will be very clearly defined as to what is included in there and what is not. Another change is the first aid component. So the emphasis has been put only on drowning victims and aquatic related first aid situations. We have taken out all the first aid that are not directly related to aquatic environment. So the program does include resuscitation and its complications, non-swimmers, tired swimmers, weak swimmers. The shallow water blackout has been added. We will speak about it a bit later. The unconscious victims remain, hypothermia is there, spinal injury, and there's a few like that, but they're really all water focused. What has been taken out is the heart attack, angina, the stroke, TIA, the airway obstruction, external bleeding, and the shock, because they're not deemed as being water related. So it will be only taught into the standard first aid course and the emergency first aid course. Many questions are raised in this regard, particularly regarding the time for the standard first aid courses. So it is not major items to be taught differently in the standard first aid course. It's all stuff that was already there, part of the components that had to be taught. So there's no concerns regarding the 16-hour for that course. In the award guide, we've added a supplement regarding the shallow water blackout, which is now part of the program that needs to be taught. So this change was done because, especially for assistant lifeguard, so the Bronze Cross program, it is important for these people to understand that while they are good swimmers, there's still risk. So normally people doing shallow water blackout will be athletes that are training, or even people trying to retrieve objects at the bottom and whatnot. And we felt that it was important for people to be aware of the signs of those behavior and to intervene before an accident happened. So this is why it's been added to the program.
Dave, we have a question. Isn't shock part of basically every situation? Do you want to answer the question? Why isn't shock part of the first aid?
Shock is part of pretty much every situation. And we had lengthy discussions when we worked on the program. And basically we came to the conclusion that shock, the treatment for shock and to prevent shock is pretty much the treatment we do to support all of our casualties. And so it was not necessary to be explicit about it when we teach the new program. The participants will still learn how to treat and prevent it, but we won't focus on it so we don't confuse them and they don't think that it's only water related. So it's really, we focus only on stuff that is exclusively aquatic or the component that is exclusively in the water. So I hope that answers.
I think so. Thank you.
So if we go to the next slide, another change, and Quebec was actually a precursor on that. We did include more life-saving sport right within the program. So some items have been created keeping in mind that they could easily be adapted to be the life-saving sport event while not being exactly that. Okay, so the obstacle swim, from memory, I believe it is in the Bronze Star that it's being there. Throwing accuracy is also Bronze Star, Bronze Medallion, and the execution of rescue drills, I think in particular of Rescue 1 in the Bronze Cross. For those of you that are familiar with life-saving sport, you will see that it's quite similar to the priority event that we do in life-saving sport. So this is why, and Quebec was actually a big player to make that happen. So we're very proud to see life-saving sport included in the program. Another change relates to the spinal injuries. So the research has informed us that spinal injuries happen very rarely in aquatic setting. And when they do happen, most of the time the offset is already determined by the accident itself. So whether there's permanent damage or not, or if the victim will suffer any long-term consequences. So it has been decided to focus on the life-saving components in Bronze Star and Bronze Medallion that really make a major difference in the outcome of the situation, and to keep the spinal injuries only in the Bronze Cross program. And it really takes the Bronze Star and Bronze Medallion content from before into one item. So it's spinal injuries that are in shallow water or on land, and the use of spinal board is not required as it was before. Okay, so that change was really done to lighten up the Bronze Star, Bronze Medallion courses to allow to focus on more critical skills. And the Bronze Cross, we feel that they have the judgment and the strength to actually support spinal injuries. Another change, and that was mentioned quickly, so the Bronze Cross is now formally an assistant lifeguard course. So it was important to add scanning and supervision into the program. So these three patterns, the starburst, the arc, and the zigzag, are part of the appendix at the end of your award guide. There is information that will be available for candidates to learn it. So it's very important that they learn how to do scanning and supervision. That being said, it is not a mini NLS. It is not, we don't expect them to guard with the same standards as a national lifeguard would. So it's very important that when you reach these items, you read carefully the performance criteria and that you adapt your teaching, especially if you are used to teach it already at the NL level. There will be some adaptation to do. If you are not an NL instructor already and you feel a bit stressed with teaching that item, rest assured that the appendix are quite explicit as to what needs to be taught, and you know that content already. We have also created for the supervision situation, so in particular in the Bronze Cross, but also in the Bronze Medallion, a list of things to consider when you create your sits to make sure that they are actually realistic and that they help the candidates achieve the criteria. So we have suggested a list of location and positioning for the team members. We have suggested a list of water conditions, which, as you see, is quite exhaustive. A list of rescue aids, and it will be important in the new program that candidates actually work with different aids. It was already the case before, but it's a lot more explicit now in the new program. And you see that the list is quite exhaustive of all the things that you could find in a water setting. So hopefully you will be able to make your candidates work with as many as you can into that list. The list of victim types is already also there. As you see, it's not very long. It's not as in the end that you have 50 plus different situations in your appendix. It's really meant to make sure that we can assess their judgment while not overly stressing them with many different first aid situations. And then you have a list of behaviors and accident causes that can be integrated into your scenarios. As always, if it's something dangerous, candidates are not expected to do them to demonstrate. It's just that they have to recognize them and to act in consequence. We have also addressed a bit more the roles and responsibilities for the assistant lifeguard. That's a new concept for some of you, potentially, definitely a new concept for the candidates. So we have defined the roles and responsibilities. It is there. It will be important that it be taught so that the candidates understand the importance of the job they're undertaking. So they have to prevent drownings and other water-related incidents, intervene rapidly and professionally in a situation, demonstrate a preoccupation and sustained attention towards patrons. So that's a bit new for the Bronze program. Before it was really reactive for the rescues. We now have an aspect of prevention. Show a concern for self-improvement and team improvement. That's very important. Respect the objectives, tasks, and responsibilities established by the employer. So we start to establish the employee-employer relationship. At the basic level, it's not a tiny national lifeguard, but it's still slowly getting integrated. And then continuously improve skills and knowledge. So we will stress that with candidates. Another significant change is regarding the assistant lifeguard interventions. So you will see when you look at the details of the different sits candidates have to make, is that in the Bronze Cross, the sits normally end when a national lifeguard takes over the situation and not when the EMS gets on site or external help. So it is an important distinction, but it's also meant to reinforce the need for working as part of a team and to interact with their colleagues when they handle emergency situation. For the fitness challenge, so the endurance test, we have worked with actually highly trained swim coaches, and what they told us is that it did not make sense to change both the time and the distance in our progression for the swim tests. So what we have done is that we use the benchmark from the International Lifesaving Federation of the ability to swim 400 meters to be a lifeguard. And we worked from there to make sure that the candidates are ready to pass it in the 10 minutes they have to make at the National Lifeguard. So as you can see in the Bronze Cross, they will have to swim 400 meters in 11 minutes. In the Bronze Medallion, it's in 12 minutes. And at the Bronze Star, they only have to complete the 400 meters training. And there's actually a sequence that's integrated in the Bronze Star. There's no time requirement. We'll see on the next slide that aspect a bit more. So various different physical tests. So Bronze Star, we have the obstacle swim. And it's meant, you know, we know that not all pools have necessarily gates like we use in life-saving sport. The program does consider that. Read carefully. You will see what's in there. We also have a rescue drill that is done with a rescue aid with a shoulder loop. So it forces them to learn to work with different rescue aids. And then the fitness challenge with a sequence to follow. And it is designed to make sure that candidates actually develop a variety of skills that will be useful in their rescues. For the Bronze Medallion, we have a rescue drill that is somewhat different from the previous one. and you have the fitness challenge. And in the brand new thing, the new component is the object recovery and transport. So one of the major issue our candidates face at National Lifeguard is actually the object recovery, so the 20-pound brick to recover and carry over 5 meters. So it has been decided to actually include an object recovery, 10 pounds instead of the 20 pounds, and to make the exact same distances. So 15 meters approach, recover the brick, 5-meter transport at the surface in 60 seconds or less. So they have a bit more time than at the National Lifeguard, and they also have a lighter object. And then you have a rescue drill and the fitness challenge again. In terms of rescues, so there are no rescues under Bronze Star. Rescues are meant particularly to assess their judgment, and it was decided that at Bronze Star level, given the age of the candidates and their skills level, that it would not be appropriate to actually test their judgment beyond all their skills and everything. At the Bronze Medallion, 3 different rescues. So one is from the side at a short distance. One is deemed to be in open water, and it's very explicit, so they have to work with different environment in mind. The item is designed so that you can mimic the open water in a swimming pool. That's not a problem. And the other way around, if you teach in waterfront, you can still do the events that are planned to be in a pool, but the thinking is there. And then rescue 3 is for non-breathing unconscious victim. So these are the 3 rescues at Bronze Medallion. In Bronze Cross, you've got a 2-person rescue for multiple victims, multiple casualties. So 3-4 victims and administer care. So that's the one I was talking about for that it looks like the priority event. Then you've got a 2-person rescue for submerged victim. And then you've got assistant lifeguard situation when they intervene as part of a team of lifeguards. It is quite similar to what you would do for SITS at the NL level, but obviously not with the same expectations for the candidates. As you will see in Bronze Cross, all of the rescues are done as part of a team, and it's not with the use of bystander, and that's to be consistent with the fact that they are assistant lifeguard and not lifesavers anymore at the Bronze Cross level. So in terms of reference material and the supplement that you have in your award guide, so the Canadian Life-Saving Manual remains a very valid resource for the program. The Alert Manual is also another good resource. Then you've got supplements at the back of the Bronze Medal Awards Guide. It's quite exhaustive, and the Life-Saving Society is developing a variety of tools that will be available on the dashboard as we unfold the new program. For the candidates, it is still the Canadian Life-Saving Manual that is the only reference manual that candidates have to have for the Bronze program. However, you can actually make sure, you can actually print copies of the appendix that you have in your award guide for those components that are missing.
Dave, I'll just go back one slide. We have someone that's not sure to understand the difference between Rescue 1 and Rescue 2 in Bronze Medallion. As you said, it's all detailed in the guide, so definitely they can go through it once they order their guide, but do you want to just explain what's the difference?
Yes, certainly. So the Rescue 1 is very designed to stay on the pool deck or on a dry area so that there's no going in the water. So it's designed, let's say, a non-swimmer in the stairs going into the pool or something like that. So short distance, you can do it using the ladder approach, staying in the first 4 steps. The second one is actually in water, so candidates have to go in, use their ladder approach again, but they have to go in and go in the upper stages of the ladder approach to make the rescue. And it's designed to mimic a rescue that you could do in a lake or a river, so an open water environment.
Perfect, thank you.
I hope that helps. So if we go back to the supplement page, yeah, thank you. So in the supplement, you will find the FIT principle, so that we use in training: frequency, intensity, time, and type, to help the candidates and the instructor to teach teach about it for the physical fitness. You will find the information about the drowning chain of survival, which we'll speak about on the next slide. The shallow water blackout that I described earlier is also there. You will have the list of roles and responsibilities of the assistant lifeguard, a bit like a job poster that's been presented. It's very neat. Then you've got section on communication and supervision and scanning. So to the level where they need to be at the Bronze Cross level compared to what they would need to know in the National Lifeguard. Obviously, you can still use the sections from your alert manual for that if you want more information, but you have to make sure that you don't teach too much into these items. Regarding the drowning chain of survival, so it's been around for a couple of years. It's not very well known yet in the aquatic sphere for instructors and everything. So it's based a bit on the chain of survival that we have from heart and stroke for resuscitation and cardiac emergencies, but it's meant for drowning. So it's all very clearly defined into the book, but as you can see, there's all the prevention component. Then you've got the recognition, response, and rescue. And you've got the treatment phase, both by first aiders and then by professionals. So it's just a continuum to show people how important it is and how important every member of a team is in the response to a drowning emergency. Regarding the evaluation, so at the Bronze Star, it stays the same. There's no evaluation. It's happening throughout the course. In Bronze Medallion, same as we do right now. So there's an external examiner that is expected to evaluate the course. We anticipate that for a group of 12 candidates, it will take about 2.5 hours to make that evaluation. And it's only 3 items, so 17, 18, and 19 that will actually be assessed. And then the Bronze Cross, again, external evaluator, you need 2.5 hours. Again, it's 3 items. These items are pretty much the rescues. So it's the judgment items that are being evaluated by an external examiner. So we will go back to Simon, who will speak about the next couple of steps.
So the next thing we'll discuss quickly is the mentors. So the Life Saving Society now has mentors available to help you. They're experienced instructors, and they can help you with questions about programs, help planning your courses. They can support evaluating candidates in courses. So if you have questions of you're not sure if something should pass or not, we can help you with that. How to find one of these mentors? Well, you have your alert magazine that's sent a few times a year, and that has a list of mentors in the back. You also have a list on your dashboard in the leadership section. And there's also, you can just send an email to the Life Saving Society office, alert@sauvetage.qc.ca, and they'll be able to partner you up with a mentor as well. Going forward with this transition from old program to new program, the life-saving instructors have to be a little careful, especially in Bronze Cross, that they're not over teaching. So just because we're introducing certain elements that are normally in National Lifeguard, so scanning and supervision, it doesn't mean that we're training them to be full-fledged lifeguards. So you make sure that you're staying within the parameters of the award guide. And for National Lifeguard instructors, you're going to be receiving a different kind of candidate. So you're going to be receiving a candidate who hasn't seen deep water spinals, but who does have a basis in supervision. So there are going to be some modification to your course plans to be able to accommodate this new kind of instructor. And it's going to be particularly challenging during the transition period when both programs can be taught. So you'll have some people who have seen the old program, some people who have seen the new program. It's also worth mentioning that the National Lifeguard program is currently under revision, and it's not far from over, so we should be seeing updates in that within the next year or two, probably. As far as the recertifications, I mentioned before that we firmed up the items that are required for a recertification exam. So for bronze medallion, it's the same 3 rescues from your regular exam. To that, you have to add your fitness items, so your endurance challenge and the endurance challenge, sorry, the submerged victim, defenses and releases, and self-rescue. In bronze cross, it's the same 3 rescue items from the exam, the endurance challenge and the rescue drill, object recovery, so again, fitness items, plus spinal injury management and team search to complete the recertification exam.
Simon, can we take a few seconds to answer a question we have? It's about recertification, but life-saving instructors. So with all of these new changes, how will those now work, and what will those recertifications include for the instructors?
So in terms of the life-saving instructor recertification, it's staying relatively similar in terms of that it's mandatory as an in-person. You can no longer recertify via the credit system that was put in place a little while ago. It's still going to include a recertification of your bronze cross as a water component. And there could be some changes to content that's going to be delivered to new instructors. A new guide is pending for instructor trainers for that. So we'll have clearer directives on exactly how it's going to change, but I imagine, I'm not involved in that new guide, but I imagine that it will include a little bit of time to discuss the new program. However, this webinar should have been seen by anyone at this point going into recertification.
Perfect, thank you.
In terms of pedagogy, the courses we presented you today, all 3 of them are now designed to be a 100% in-water course, so all the time poolside or beachside. The idea for this is to be able to promote more competency development and to really contextualize the learning. So we're really talking about things that happen in, on, and around water, so we want the learning to happen in, on, and around the water. So this is going to allow for an easier transfer from knowledge items to skill items. And it will also, in terms of Bronze Cross candidates who are training for a workplace, will familiarize themselves with that workplace. It also helps us increase the amount of practice time and promote the concept of active learning, which is really important for the age groups that take the bronze medal awards. So in terms of teaching strategies, if you need ideas, you can consult the Leadership Reference Manual. That's the new reference guide for life-saving instructors. For those of you who've been around a little bit longer, it's replacing instructor notes. And you can consult the section on teaching approaches and methods of facilitations. And of course, sharing and exchanging ideas with your fellow instructors. Networking with your fellow instructors is a very important tool, and it's a very good way to get new ideas and be able to mix up your teaching and keep things interesting for yourself as well as the candidates. Remember, as you're doing things and you're changing your plans and you're adjusting to the new program, to keep base principles in mind. Make sure that your activities are targeting the learning objectives outlined in the award guides. Make sure the candidates are active as much as possible. Again, it's very important for this age group and how they learn for them to stay active. And of course, refer to official documentation, the Canadian Life-Saving Manual, your award guides, and other documents when you're making your lesson plans to make sure you're following the curriculum. In terms of tools, so there will be so these tools are either in development or should be ready quite soon on the dashboard. So the new long-term lesson plans will become available. There's going to be a collection of different activities for different items that is currently in development. So that might be just a little bit longer. The new award guide, which is mandatory for all instructors. Now that award guide is already available, so you can order that from the Life Saving Society. There's a purchase order form that you can go through on the website, or if you prefer, give them a call at the office or send an email to alert@sauvetage.qc.ca. New exam sheets will be available soon. There's going to be tools for teaching aquatic supervision, so tools to help bronze instructors who haven't taught nationals before to teach. That's also in a development to help with their scanning and supervision teaching. And there's going to be a September 2020 version of the program guide, which if it isn't up already, should be available soon. So the program guide will reflect the new programming. Your dashboard, as always, is a very important place to find resources. So that's where the new course plans are going to be. So those mandatory course plans to give out to candidates when you teach. You'll find your exam sheets to use for courses and recertifications, the long-term lesson plans. And the long-term lesson plans will include, just like the current ones, a time distribution for each item. So the allocation of about how much time you should spend on each item throughout the course to help you better plan, do your long-term plans. Like I said, program guide, if it's not there now, should be available soon in the September 2020 update. And there will also be a new toolbox, which is in development for teaching the new program. So there's lots of resources on their way. That being said, we have now started our transition period, which means you're able to start teaching the new program as of right now. The requirement to teach it is to attend a webinar and to have your new award guide in hand. So once you have your new award guide, you'll be able to start teaching it. It is possible to teach either program over the next 2 years. So the transition period ends September 1st, 2022. The one thing that you're not allowed to do is a hybrid program. You can't go pick and choose the items you like best from the old program and the new program, and then make your own version of Bronze Medallion, Bronze Cross, or Bronze Star out of that. So you have to pick one or the other. Note that only the new guides are available to buy as of this time. So if you were still teaching the old program and you don't have your award guide anymore, you're not able to replace it at this time. We also encourage you to prioritize the new program. All of these program changes were based on research, so we feel that the new program is meets the needs of the public more than the old one. So we do promote you to do that as soon as you're ready to take it on. I think that's about it for transition. So I'm gonna hand it back over to, actually I see we have a question, and it's, yeah, so Taylor, you would have to, so basically the question is, are you able to purchase the award guides? This is a particular affiliate. So some affiliates that stock books will might have some in the stock. They're just available, so there's nothing probably that's available at the moment. So for now, I would encourage you to order directly from the Life Saving Society, but a few months from now, some of the affiliates that stock books might be able to do that. You'd have to contact them directly. And I think that's it for questions. So I'll hand it over to Penelope to continue with the COVID review.
Yay. Thank you, Simon. So real quickly, we're gonna go through the adapting your teaching in a COVID-19 context. So you probably already thought about it, and your aquatic manager already thought about it, but just so you know, there's a few documents online on the Life Saving Society website on the dashboard that you can go and look through for you to help how to adapt your items. So all the adaptations for items, so when to use orange mannequin on which items, or when to change the item in order to reduce the contact between candidates. It's all there. It was mainly for the recertifications, but we're gonna put new documents for the courses as well, so for the bronze courses. Also, all the disinfection procedures. So when do I need to clean? If I leave the CPR mannequin and the pool in the water overnight isn't enough, do I need to disinfect and to leave it in the water overnight? So it's all there. You can you can access this document on your dashboard. So about the in-water teaching, we try to not group the whole class together. So in the life-saving classes, we know we really tend to gather the group together. But then again, that's not safe in the actual context. So we're gonna try to separate them into smaller teams. So if you have areas in the pool or lanes, they're really gonna help you to divide the group. Also, the bubble buddies. So what are the bubble buddies? It's to do teams of 2 or 3, and they're gonna stay together for the whole course. So instead of switching teams and trying on different type of people and different, so you can usually in life-saving classes, as you already know, we try to mix it up so people are not used to one particular type of person. But in this COVID-19 context, we're really going to try to reduce the switching and the mixing. So that's why we call the bubble buddies, and we try to put it forward. It's not like in the school that the whole class is considered as a bubble. So since it's not, so we're not in school and the candidates don't see each other every day for a few hours a day. It's only probably once a week, one time a week, and a short period of time. So we try to stay with bubble buddies. And as we mentioned before, the life-saving mannequin and the CPR mannequin really need to be put forward. So no contact between candidates if we don't need it. About the out-of-water teaching, as Simon mentioned earlier, we won't have any theory in class, so it's all going to be on the pool deck or waterfront or any places where the course is taking place. So since there's no desk, it might be a little harder to think about the 2 meter distance between the candidates. So try to think about it when you set up your teaching environment, and really remember to ask them to wear their mask, so procedure masks or homemade ones, to make sure we respect les recommandations du gouvernement. Merci. About swimming in lanes, as usual, but we're going to try to keep the 2 meter distance. So we're going to space out the candidates in order for them to have enough space between them to not be crossing or to be too close up. So no mass wave departures. And also when the candidates are gonna stop to rest, we don't want them to stop at the wall and to be all clogged up. So try to think about how you're gonna space them out in the lanes. Maybe mark the lane rope and then identify it so that the swimmers know where to rest and to stop. So these are just few ideas and few things to think about. But if you have other ideas or other adaptations that you would like to share, just write me an email, and really it's gonna help us to guide better the instructors. So don't hesitate. So really quickly, I'm gonna go through the steps to teach a bronze cross, a bronze course, whether it's bronze cross or bronze medallion, or even bronze star. So you probably already know it, but we're just gonna walk through it quickly. So first step would be to talk to your candidates about the next courses to take. So basically to talk about the continuum and what's next. Also mentioning the Life Saving Society website is always useful, because then they can go on the website and they can click on that big red button, I want to take a course, and they can find the course they want and the facility and the town or whatever the specificity. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Anyway, they can find it there, so it's a good tool. Also, don't forget to offer your services to your employer. So all the courses that you can teach, it's always helpful to remind your employer of the spectrum, the broad spectrum that you can teach. Of course, have your bronze medals award guide at hand. So since it's a new guide, you needed to teach a new course. This PowerPoint will be available on the dashboard, but you shouldn't depend on it. You really should read through your whole guide, because basically the presentation right now is based on the guide, but all the information you need is there. Of course, plan your course, so activities and material, make sure you have everything you need. Conduct yourself appropriately, so the code of conduct. Finally, evaluate your candidates, complete failure reports and exam sheets. So throughout the session, you'll make sure you evaluate your candidates. And when is time for the exam, you need to help the aquatic manager to find an examiner. So whether it's on the Facebook group or on the dashboard, there's a few ways to find one if you don't have any, if you don't find one yourself. Also, you need to set with your aquatic manager to who is transmitting the exam sheets to the Life Saving Society. So if it's them, it's fine. If it's you, it's fine, as long as we receive them. Yeah, we receive all the exam sheets. And just keep in mind that you need to keep your evaluation notes and exam sheets and failure reports for about 5 years. So just to make sure if something happens, you have backup to share with us. Okay, so real quickly, just a quick reminder that there's a harassment and misconduct policy at the Life Saving Society. So we're committed to promoting any principle or action aimed at establishing a healthy, respectful, and safe environment to encourage harmonious and relations among its members. So the harassment and misconduct policy is in effect, and you can find it on our website if you want to find out more about it. So basically, we're now at the end of the presentation. I'm just gonna go through the Q&A to see there's a question. Just curious, because there's so much valuable info in this presentation, will it be made available after the webinar? So yes, it will be on your dashboard at the end of this week. So basically we're in we're Friday, so probably this weekend. Actually, no, I can't say that because I can ask my colleagues to work on weekends. So it's gonna be available to you probably, since Monday is un jour férié. It might be on Tuesday, but it will be there. And also the recording of this webinar would also be available for the people that were not able to attend. So yep. So basically, if you have other questions that were not answered in this presentation, now would be a good time to ask them. I also want to thank Simon for his time, so thank you so much. Thanks to Dave, who had to leave, but who did the first part of the webinar. So if you have questions, you can, I think you can unmute yourself if you don't feel like writing it down. So if you'd rather just interact with us. So maybe that's it. You have my email here at the end of the page. So phawkins@sauvetage.qc.ca. There's also my colleague Tess, so tlbparent@sauvetage.qc.ca. If you have any question about the program, you can contact me or her. So if you want to order your new guide, like Simon said, you can call us at the Life Saving Society. There's also going to be a bon commande, so a way to fill out a form online to order your guide. It will be available by the beginning of next week. There's already one that exists, but it's for affiliate member, so it might be a little confusing sometimes because if you're not an affiliate member, there's some things that you won't know what to write down, but basically it's going to be almost the same form to fill up. So if you want it now or if you want it faster, you can definitely use this one. It's on your dashboard in administration and bonne commande. So you can find it there. I don't know if Simon, you wanted to say something else or?
No, I think it's pretty complete. Of just, I guess, last check if anyone has any questions. We still have a little bit of time. We haven't held you for the full hour yet, so now's your chance for those last minute questions. If not, good luck with the new program.